Now, before we jump in, let me be crystal clear about something. I'm not here to sell you 45 different gadgets. Nobody needs that much stuff. Instead, I'm breaking this down into categories so you can find exactly what you need for your type of camping. Whether you're a weekend warrior setting up in a campground or a hardcore backpacker counting every ounce, I've got you covered. I've organized this into survival essentials that could legitimately save your life, comfort tech that'll make you actually want to go camping, space-saving innovations for minimalists, the products that genuinely shocked me, and finally, my rapid-fire bonus picks that didn't fit anywhere else but are too good not to mention. And here's the best part. Every single item I'm showing you today, I've personally used in the field. Not in my backyard, not in perfect conditions, but in actual camping scenarios with rain, mud, freezing temperatures, and all the chaos that comes with real outdoor adventures. So you're getting the truth, not some corporate talking points. LifeStraw Flex Water Filtration System. First up, we need to talk about water, because you can survive 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. The LifeStraw Flex is hands down one of the most versatile water solutions I've ever tested, and here's why it's really clever. This thing works multiple ways. You can use it with the included 22-ounce squeeze bottle, attach it to a gravity bag, use it like a straw directly from a stream, connect it in line with your hydration pack, or even attach it to standard disposable water bottles. That flexibility is crucial because different situations demand different solutions. When you're hiking and need to refill quickly, the bottle method works great. At camp with your whole group, the gravity bag setup can filter water while you do other things. But here's what you need to know. The hollow fiber membrane removes 99.99% of bacteria and parasites, including Giardia and Cryptosporidium. Important note though, it does not filter viruses. So this is really designed for North American backcountry use. I've tested this in various water sources, and the filtered water comes out clear and tastes clean. The activated carbon filter reduces lead, chlorine, and improves taste, which is great if you're camping near areas with potential chemical runoff. Now, full transparency, the flow rate is slower than some competitors, and you really need to squeeze or suck hard to get water through. Some reviewers have had issues with air bubbles blocking flow, which requires backflushing with the included syringe. The main microbiological filter lasts 500 gallons, but the carbon filter only lasts 25 gallons and costs about $10 to replace. At around $30 to $40 depending on the package, it's a solid mid-range option. Just know it requires a bit more maintenance than some other filters out there. But Zippo Fire Starting Paracord. Now, let's talk about fire, because staying warm and being able to cook food are non-negotiables in a survival situation. But here's where things get interesting. The Zippo Fire Starting Paracord isn't just regular paracord. It's actually paracord with a wax-coated red fire starting strand woven right into it. Here's why this is clever. Traditional 550 paracord is great for about 1 million different uses. You can build shelters, create snares, make a clothesline, repair gear, even use it as emergency bootlaces. But when you need to start a fire, you're usually sacrificing perfectly good cordage. With the Zippo version, you simply clip off and unravel a short length of the red paraffin-coated strand. Hit it with a spark from a ferro rod or lighter, and it ignites easily to get your fire going. I tested this in some challenging conditions. Damp weather, cold fingers, everything a bit wet. I was able to extract about 4 to 6 inches of the red fire strand, create some spark with a ferro rod, and had a sustainable flame going pretty quickly. It catches much easier than trying to find dry tinder in wet conditions. That's the difference between being cold and uncomfortable versus getting a fire started when you really need it. The paracord itself is rated for 550 pounds of tensile strength, which means it can handle serious loads whether you're hanging a bear bag, securing a tarp, or lashing gear together. You get 50 feet of cordage, and it comes with a small carabiner for easy attachment to your pack. The whole thing weighs about 6 ounces. At roughly $20 to $25, it's more expensive than regular paracord, but you're paying for the integrated fire starting capability. It's one of those items that sits in your pack doing nothing most of the time. But when you need it, especially in wet or windy conditions, you'll be glad you have it. Just remember, you're gradually using up the fire starting strand each time, so it's not infinite. But for emergency preparedness and backup fire starting, it's a really smart piece of kit. Luminoodle LED light rope. Lighting is one of those things that most people get completely wrong when camping. You either bring a harsh spotlight that blinds everyone and attracts every bug within a 5-mile radius, or you're fumbling around with a dim headlamp trying not to trip over tent stakes. The Luminoodle changes this equation entirely. and it's one of those products where people literally walk into your camp and ask what the heck you're using. This is a flexible LED light rope that's waterproof and incredibly versatile. The 5-foot version outputs 180 lumens, while the 10-foot XL version puts out 360 lumens. What's brilliant is how it creates this soft, diffused light that fills your entire camping area with ambient glow. It's bright enough to actually see what you're doing, but because the light is spread along the entire rope instead of coming from a single point, it doesn't create harsh shadows or blind spots. The mounting system is stupidly simple but incredibly effective. There's a loop on each end, so you can clip it to your tent ceiling, wrap it around a tree branch, string it across your camp table, or hang it from your vehicle. Some versions include magnetic clips that slide along the rope, which means you can stick them to any metal surface. There are also Velcro straps included for attaching to gear loops or tent poles. What really won me over is how versatile this thing is for different scenarios. Inside the tent, I use it at lower brightness for a cozy reading light. Outside, it turns your picnic area into something that actually feels welcoming. Because it's USB powered, you can run it off any power bank. I got several hours of continuous use on a standard 10,000 mAh battery, depending on brightness settings. The waterproof construction holds up well. It's rated IP67, which means it can handle rain without issues. At around $20 to $30 for the basic 5-foot version, or $40 to $50 for the 10-foot version with battery pack included, it's one of those purchases that immediately upgrades your camping experience. Fair warning though, this is ambient lighting, not task lighting. If you need to thread a needle or read fine print, you'll still want a headlamp. But for everything else, this is a fantastic option. Therm-a-Rest NeoAir UberLite Sleeping Pad. Let's talk about sleep. Because if you're not sleeping well, your entire camping trip is going to be miserable. I've spent way too many nights tossing and turning on cheap foam pads that are basically just thin yoga mats pretending to be camping gear. The Therm-a-Rest NeoAir UberLite completely changed my perspective on what's possible for backcountry sleep. First, the stats that matter. This pad weighs 8.8 ounces for the regular size. That's lighter than most water bottles. It packs down to about the size of a soda can. And yet, when inflated, it provides 2.5 inches of cushioning between you and the ground. That might not sound like much, but the magic is in how that air is structured. Therm-a-Rest uses this triangular core matrix construction, which is basically a series of internal baffles that create stability and prevent the air from just sloshing around underneath you. The result is that even if you're a side sleeper like me, your hip isn't bottoming out on a rock at 3 in the morning. I've used this on everything from smooth tent platforms to moderately rocky terrain, and when it works well, the comfort level is impressive. The insulation is decent for summer use. The R value is 2.3, which realistically means it's good down to about 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit for most people. Some hardy folks push it colder, but you'll definitely need a good sleeping bag. This is primarily a 3-season pad for warmer conditions, not a winter pad. Inflation takes about 10 to 15 breaths, which is manageable. The newer wing-lock valve system makes this easier than older models because it has a one-way valve option that prevents air from escaping between breaths. Some people use a pump sack to avoid getting moisture inside the pad, which extends its lifespan. Deflation takes maybe 30 to 60 seconds if you roll it properly while lying on it. So here's my honest take. If you're a weekend car camper, this is absolute overkill and probably not worth the risk. But if you're a serious ultralight backpacker doing long trails where every ounce matters, and you're willing to baby this pad and carry a repair kit, it's genuinely the lightest insulated full-size pad available. Just know you're trading durability for weight savings. For most people, I'd probably recommend the slightly heavier but more durable NeoAir XLITE instead, which has better insulation and tougher 30 denier fabric for about the same price. Full Windsor MagWare 2.0. Eating utensils are one of those things that seem simple until you're actually camping and realize you forgot a spoon, or your fork is at the bottom of your pack covered in mystery goo, or your plate just blew away in the wind. The Full Windsor MagWare 2.0 solves all of these problems with one brilliantly simple idea: magnets. This is a complete dining set with bowls, plates, and cutlery, and everything snaps together magnetically. That means when you pack it, there's zero rattling, zero loose pieces floating around your bag, and zero chance of losing individual components. The magnetic connection is seriously strong, too. I've hiked with this clipped to the outside of my pack, and nothing has ever come loose, even on really rough terrain. The construction is 304 food-grade stainless steel with a polished finish, which means it's durable, easy to clean, and won't retain flavors or odors like plastic dishes do. I'm kind of obsessed with how much better food tastes when you're not eating it off a flimsy paper plate or some sketchy plastic bowl that smells like last month's chili. Each piece is designed with functionality in mind. The bowls and plates have little tabs on the edges for handling hot food without burning your fingers. There are silicone spacers that create just enough gap between stacked pieces so they don't get vacuum sealed together. And the cutlery is genuinely good, not those pathetic spork abominations that can't do anything well. These are actual forks, spoons, and knives that work like real utensils. The storage bag has a zip pocket specifically for soap or a scrub pad, which is such a smart touch because cleaning dishes at camp is always a hassle. Everything fits together so compactly that the entire set takes up less space than a typical mess kit, despite being way more functional. At around $70, it's definitely premium pricing. But if you camp regularly and you're tired of disposable junk or janky plastic gear, this is one of those purchases that pays for itself in quality of life improvements. Plus, you're not creating a trail of waste every time you eat, which matters if you care about leave no trace principles. Scrubba Wash Bag Mini. Here's a problem nobody talks about enough. Dirty clothes on a camping trip. You can pack extra outfits, but that takes up valuable space. You can just embrace being filthy, but that gets old fast. Or you can bring the Scrubba Wash Bag Mini, which is legitimately one of the most useful innovations I've ever added to my camping kit. This is basically a portable washing machine that fits in your pocket. The inside of the bag has a textured washboard surface with these flexible nodules. You add your dirty clothes, some water, a tiny bit of soap, seal it up, and then you squeeze and massage the bag for about 3 to 5 minutes. The nodules agitate the fabric against itself, working out dirt, sweat, and odors. Then you rinse, wring out the clothes, and you're done. Total time is maybe 10 minutes, and your clothes come out legitimately clean. I was skeptical about this until I actually tested it in the field. After a 3-day hike where I'd been sweating through my shirt constantly, I used the Scrubba with just stream water and a small squirt of biodegradable soap. The difference was night and day. The shirt came out smelling fresh and looking significantly cleaner. Not quite as perfect as a home washing machine, but easily good enough to wear again comfortably. The bag itself weighs 2.5 ounces and folds down to pocket size, which is insane for what it does. It's made from durable, flexible plastic that's held up to months of use without any signs of wear. The seal is watertight, which means you can also use it as a dry bag for electronics, or as a water container in a pinch, or even as a makeshift shower if you poke a couple of pinholes in a corner. This is especially clutch for longer trips where you're trying to minimize what you carry, or for travelers who are bouncing between campsites and hotels. At about $25, it's one of those low-cost purchases that you end up using way more than you expected. I've even used mine at home for delicate items or when I need to wash something quick without running a full load. It's simple, effective, and solves a real problem. That's the trifecta. Radiate Portable Campfire. I'll be honest, when I first saw this product, I thought it was ridiculous. A campfire in a can that you can just light up anywhere? It felt like a solution looking for a problem. And then I used it at a campsite during a fire ban, and suddenly everything clicked. The Radiate Portable Campfire is essentially a contained fire made from recycled soy wax and paper briquettes. You open the can, light the wick, and boom, you have a real flame that burns for about 3 hours. The heat output is surprisingly substantial, enough to roast marshmallows, keep your hands warm, or even boil water in a pinch if you're patient. Here's why this is brilliant in practice. First, fire bans. So many amazing camping areas have seasonal fire restrictions because of wildfire risk. And traditionally that means no campfire experience at all. The Radiate is contained and controlled enough that many parks allow it even during fire bans, though you should always verify local regulations. Second, convenience. Sometimes you just want a fire without the hassle of gathering wood, building a proper fire ring, and managing a full campfire. This lights instantly and requires zero maintenance. The environmental aspect is legitimately impressive too. It's made from recycled materials, produces minimal smoke compared to wood fires, and when it's done burning, the can is recyclable. You're not leaving a fire scar on the landscape or clearing out local deadwood. That matters in popular camping areas where natural fire fuel is getting scarce. I've used this for everything from romantic evening ambience to emergency heat during an unexpected cold snap. The flame is mesmerizing in that primal way that only real fire can be. It's not LED lights or a propane heater. It's actual fire with crackling sounds and everything. At around $20 per canister, it's not a replacement for traditional campfires, but as a supplemental option or an emergency backup, it's fantastic. The shelf life is 30 years, which is absurd. You can literally buy a few of these, throw them in your emergency kit, and forget about them until you need them. They don't dry out, they don't go bad, they just sit there ready to use. I keep one in my car, one in my camping bin, and one in my home emergency supplies. It's one of those products that seems silly until the moment you need it, and then you feel like a genius for having it. Ooni Portable Pizza Oven. I'll be honest, when I first considered bringing a pizza oven camping, I thought it was ridiculous. A pizza oven? For camping? That's absolutely crazy, and you're right. It is crazy. It's also one of the most fun pieces of camping gear I've ever used, and it's turned regular camping trips into legitimate outdoor events. The Ooni compact models like the Karu 12 or Fyra are designed to burn wood or wood pellets and reach up to 950 degrees Fahrenheit in about 15 minutes. At that temperature, you can cook a legitimate Neapolitan-style pizza in 60 to 90 seconds. I'm not talking about a sad camping meal that you choke down because you're hungry. I'm talking about restaurant-quality pizza with a crispy crust, properly melted cheese, and that distinctive char you only get from high heat. Here's why this works for car camping specifically. The Karu 12 weighs about 26 pounds, and the Fyra is 22 pounds. They're compact when the legs fold down, roughly the size of a large cooker. You feed them small pieces of wood or wood pellets, stuff you can find at most camping supply stores or bring with you. The cooking process is fast enough that you can feed a group of 8 people with pizzas in about 30 to 45 minutes once you get a rhythm going. But the magic isn't just the food, it's the experience. Camping food is usually functional at best. Hot dogs, canned chili, maybe a burger if you're feeling fancy. The Ooni turns dinner into an event. Everyone gets involved stretching dough, adding toppings, watching their pizza cook, and suddenly you're creating memories instead of just consuming calories. I've used pizza ovens like this at beach campsites, forest camps, and in my backyard when I want the outdoor cooking experience without the full camping commitment. You can cook way more than pizza too. Roasted vegetables, flatbreads, even steaks if you have a cast iron pan. The heat is so intense that everything cooks fast and develops incredible flavors. But here's the thing, if you camp with family or friends regularly and you want to elevate the experience from "we're surviving in the woods" to "we're having an adventure," this can be absolutely worth it. I've had kids who normally complain about camping get genuinely excited because they know we're making pizza. That alone might justify the investment for some families. Just understand this is a luxury item for enhancing the camping experience, not essential survival gear. GPCA Carabiner Multi-Tool. This is a carabiner that's also a multi-tool with a bottle opener, box cutter, screwdriver set, and more. It's made from titanium, weighs almost nothing, clips to your pack, and you'll use it constantly for random tasks. $25. Done. Moving on. I'm Sea to Summit Ultrasil Dry Sack. Waterproof storage that weighs 1 ounce and packs down to nothing. The 13-liter size holds all your electronics, important documents, and spare clothes. The roll-top closure is genuinely waterproof, not just water-resistant. I've submerged mine in streams multiple times, and everything inside stayed bone dry. Essential gear. $30. Next. Nordic Pocket Saw. This is a chainsaw blade with handles. Sounds sketchy, works incredibly well. You wrap it around a branch, pull back and forth, and you're cutting through wood faster than any folding saw. Takes up 0 space in your pack, weighs nothing, and costs $15. If you need firewood, this is your answer. Path 22. Coin Compass. A brass or titanium compass the size of a quarter. Genuinely accurate, waterproof, and you can keep it on your keychain so it's always with you. It's one of those things you hopefully never need, but if you do need it, you'll be incredibly grateful. $20. Absolutely worth it. Colax Hand Warmer Pouch. For winter camping, this rechargeable hand warmer pouch heats up in 3 seconds and lasts for 14 hours on a single charge. It's also a power bank, so it's pulling double duty. Your hands will actually stay warm instead of going numb. $50. Game changer for cold weather. There you have it. 5 more tools that punch way above their weight class in terms of usefulness. Let's wrap this up. Listen, I know I threw a ton of information at you today. Here's what I want you to do right now. First, hit that like button if this video helped you avoid wasting money on garbage gear. Second, subscribe and turn on notifications because I'm testing new outdoor gear every single week, and I've got some absolutely wild products coming up in the next video that you're not going to want to miss. Third, drop a comment below telling me what kind of camping you do. Are you a backpacker, car camper, overlander, winter enthusiast? Because I read every single comment, and your feedback directly influences what gear I test next. I want to make videos that actually help you, not just random product showcases. I've linked all the products I mentioned today in the description below. Full transparency, some of those are affiliate links, which means if you buy something, I get a tiny commission at no extra cost to you. That's what lets me keep buying and testing gear for these videos. But I only recommend stuff I actually use and believe in. No paid promotions here, just honest opinions from real field testing. Final thought, one last thing before you go. The best camping gear isn't the most expensive or the newest or the most Instagram-worthy. It's the gear that works reliably when you need it and doesn't let you down in the field. That's what I'm always looking for, and that's what I'll keep bringing you. Thanks for watching. Get outside, have an adventure, and I'll see you in the next one.